Hi, welcome to Statement of Cash Flows number 7. This follows sort of quite nicely on from number 6 in that it's a variation of the same thing. This statement of cash flows will be a bit more direct for the simple reason we have the income statement. And from that, I can start with the profit almost straight away. However, before you begin, make sure you are familiar with the tables here, because I'm going to be going through them relatively quick. So we've had the income statement of changes in equity, quite an important statement in any business of company status. And we've got some notes down here. So, okay, if you haven't read the data carefully, stop the video now, read it, and then come back. Okay, look at note 6 here. We've got a situation where the bank balance starts at $1,000 and ends up at $171,000. So, yippee, we may feel. Is that good or not? Well, the cash flow statement is designed to throw some light on how that cash was arranged or arrived at. How did we make that journey from 1,000 to 171,000? Well, let's get busy then. So let's start off with the cash flow from operations. First step is let's start with our profit from operations. And we already know what that is straight away, because it's now 882,000. So what I want to do now is I don't have to, unlike the more indirect method, I had to start with the retained earnings and disentangle that, if you like, for cash reasons, to find what might be the profit. Here I've got the profit, so I can go straight in and look at those expenses or incomes that were in the trading and profit and loss account, but did not impact on the cash flow. So the first one is the, as always, depreciation. Depreciation. We add that back in because although it's an expense, it wasn't a cash outflow. So we're going to put it back in. So where is it, you ask? Let's go look for it. So if you read your data carefully, you can very quickly find it here. It says depreciation of fixed assets was charged to the income statement. That's really very, very clear. So we can add that back in. But we disposed of an asset at a profit. So the profit on disposal can come off. Okay, we're going to take that out because we put it in as a profit, but it didn't come in the form of cash. So we're going to take that out. So what was the profit on disposal? Again, if you read the data, you'll pick that up quite quick. Here it is. So I've done that in red to indicate I'm going to take that figure away. So here we go, 135 minus the 35. Right. We move on. Okay, so now what we've got is the figure of 135, let's say less than 35. That gives us 100. Fairly straightforward calculation. Don't know what I did wrong there. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to do the changes in working capital. Now, this is the good news. The questions put the three together. And it's been really kind to us. Because look at these three. Increase in inventories, increase in trade receivable, decrease in trade payables. Now, if you remember, let's underline that, make sure that I know cleared. If you increase the working capital, that effectively causes a drain on our cash. So if we increase the inventories, effectively, we are draining the cash. So this is going to represent a negative figure. Right. But the same applies here. We increase the current assets, we have to fund it so that it's a negative cash. The cash is draining out of the business. But the reverse is true when it comes to current liabilities. If we decrease the current liabilities, again, we are seeing cash leave the business. So in fact, all three are negative. So I've now got a figure of negative 624,000. Okay, always check your figures as you go. But we can see that the cash has fallen. Okay, well, all that's left then is the interest and the tax paid. Paid, remember, tax. I'll make a point of that. Paid. We're not interested in the tax being charged on profit and loss. It's actually paid. So how do we know how much tax we've paid? Well, is it the 310, you wonder? Well, it's not. It says tax paid during the year, 312. Perfect. We're told. Now that's a negative figure. So let's just make sure that is negative. And the interest paid. Well, where's the interest paid? It's actually debenture interest. There it is. It's already negative for me. So I'm just going to pop that across. So now I'm getting a fairly, hopefully, complete picture of cash movement through operations. Right, well, all I got to do now is to add up those four figures, and bingo, I should have my cash flow. Now, you know, this in a way is rather telling. Oh, negative 20,000. That may raise a few eyebrows, but let's just think about what's happening in this business. Its inventories have risen. Its trade receivables have risen. This might be typical of a business rapidly expanding. Okay, and often businesses that grow too quick do in fact hit some of these problems with respect to cash flow. Okay, well, let's move on now to the cash flow from investing activities. Now, remember, this is simple. How much did we spend on new investments for the business? For example, fixed assets, buying assets outside the company, like buying into another company, and so on. And take away from that any money that came into the business. So if we spent money on investments, that's negative cash. If we disposed of assets, there's positive cash. Now, however many times you look at this case, there was no purchase of fixed assets. but there was a sale, and that's here. Fixed assets were sold for. It's in note 1. And it represented the princely sum of 200,000. Well, that more than offsets the negative amount of operating cash. Now, that again may raise some eyebrows. You're selling off fixed assets. What are you selling? That needs investigation. That, we don't know that. I know nothing about this business, and it's fictional anyway. But the point is, it gets you asking the right questions. What did you sell to get that? Now, if it's a piece of redundant land in the middle of nowhere, fine. That helps the business expand. Right, okay. Now what we want to do is work on the cash flows from the financing activities, stocks and shares we might have sold to bring money in, increase loans, maybe debentures. Come on, that a second. But of course, the negative side of that, we may well have paid out by redeeming money borrowed, paying back that money borrowed, and dishing out dividends to our shareholders. So let's have a look at the proceeds from the sale of shares. Well, this is rather useful in that the statement of changes in equity will have already been done for us, but it should have been done anyway. In any business, it's part of what's required of companies. Well, it says ordinary shares issued, 200,000. Fine. But we've got to add the premium to that. Okay, I'll mention something about that in a later video, a little bit more detail, so at least you've got the notes. But this is money coming in, so I'm going to leave it like that. But we paid back some of the debentures. Now, a debenture, it's money borrowed, very important. So we've paid back some of our debentures. And we've got to look at that. What was redeemed? Now, again, if you read, this is why it's so important to read your notes, the question very, very carefully before you start answering it, because I remember that very clearly. It's this figure here, 60,000. So it's 60,000, but that money's leaving the business. So it's a negative figure. Right. So 350,000 came in, 60,000 went out, and we want our dividends paid. See, I keep narking at that point because there's so many reference to dividends in some of these statements. You've got to pick out the right one. So what was paid? Oh, look, dividends paid inside the equity statement. There we are. I can find no others, so I'm now going to sum up those 3 figures. And we've got a negative 10,000. Okay, so it looks like we borrowed money in order to satisfy our shareholders in dividends. Is that a good thing or not? I wouldn't probably know in most cases, but and we paid back some dividends. So let's now put these figures together. So we saw a cash net output of negative 20,000, but we raised 200,000 by selling something in the way of selling assets, and we had negative balance there. Okay. Does that reconcile this? Well, yes, it does, because our balance has gone from 1,000 to 171,000. So they say don't judge a book by its cover. Yeah, I think that's probably appropriate here, because although there's been a huge increase in the cash balances, why? We can look at the source and the way those funds have been applied. But I think there's a lot more questions to ask if this were real. Okay, I've put a piece there on debentures, so by all means have a look at that. It tells you very briefly about debentures. I won't harp on that. You're quite capable of reading it. And it's a kind of thing that you can find about 100 Google videos on. Okay? Okay. See you next time.